Welcome back to another week of the White Claw Wrap-Up!
Oh yeah, from New York City.
From New York City, a little bit different. So let's pop the top. Same thing, but look at this zoom in here. 70 cals, 30% less. How do they do it? Here, cheers.
Cheers.
So, this week we have our fourth pillar heading into the pillar of network. And when we were thinking about this and we were talking about it, so often it's like, what is network? What does it stem around? How do you find one? What does that look like? And Elise is preoccupied with something. Tossing it off. That's the hazards of
trying not to have our dog eat a bee and die in front of us.
The hazards of New York City balcony living. But it's so often like, what is network? What is it all about? How do you find it? How do you get it? And it's just like starting a business. You have to have that clarity. You have to know where you want to fit in, what the niche is, and then identify where that target client is, where that target person is. And for Elise and I, we both have such large networks, and we've grown them very purposefully. We've grown them with an intention. And so often we forget to do that. When you left Buffalo, because I know your entire family's in Buffalo, all 5,000 of them.
Yeah.
And pretty much make up half the Buffalo population, I think. When you left Buffalo, you went to Pittsburgh for school, and then you come into New York City. You've moved around so much, and obviously now that your network stems in multiple cities around the country, around the world actually, how did you find those new networks as you went to different places?
So, a big part of it was subject to my circumstances. So, if you're asking when I left Buffalo, I went to Pittsburgh at that point. And part of it is circumstantial, but also a big part of it is intentional. So I knew that, of course I wanted to be in the fashion industry, but there wasn't a fashion school in the college I was going to at Pitt. So I started seeking out anybody who had anything to do with fashion within Pittsburgh. So there was a not-for-profit that ran a fashion show every year that I ultimately was able to, get to the point where I was the one running the fashion show. There was a magazine editor who I ended up being her intern one summer. And then ultimately I ended up working for the only fashion company in Pittsburgh, starting my career off at American Eagle. So, I think what Justin was saying is there's the piece of it that comes with your circumstances. I was in Pittsburgh, was creating a natural network there, but then also there was that purposeful or intentional piece of it where you really go after those people and try to create those relationships with people who can help further your goal in your life.
And I think you hit it on the head where not only are they helping further your goal, but you bring something to the table. It always starts with being able to offer something. So often when I was talking at conferences or had a speech somewhere, or when I was doing a book signing or whatever it might be, people would always come up and, can I pick your brain? Or what is it I can do for you? And it's amazing the difference of approach when somebody comes up and offers immediate value to you, or comes and wants to provide something to you. The social cue and the ability to welcome them into the network is so much easier. So I think if you're...
Yeah, of course, it's a two-way street.
Absolutely. You always need to be able to provide value to that network or to that person that you're trying to get into. Now, that's a lot of like the business side, but on
that person that you're trying to get into.
Well, that's just rude. Again, get your head out of the gutter. This is simple. This is a business show. There's a level of professionalism here. But on the personal side, outside of your business, like quite often you're going to want people who are just like-minded individuals. And it goes back to those same things. And sometimes it can be scary, kind of stepping off into the ledge and getting involved in other groups and other people's networks. But it again comes back to that clarity, being able to identify what type of values do you want the people you hang around to have? What interests do they have? Who are the these people. And as soon as you can create clarity there, that's when the magic happens, because you can all of a sudden start to go and socialize in those types of environments. Is it going to the park? Is it going to a social meetup? Is it doing some type of new Zoom Skype calls? Or again, interacting with certain people? That's where really the magic happens, and you're able to now grow that social network. When you were going and trying to make friends in that area, I still can't believe it's something that I'm always jealous of you, is how deep your friends network is and how wide it runs. How did you build that?
I'm a highly intentional person when it comes to relationships, and so a big part of it was being in New York, creating friendships and relationships, but also within the career path that I had, I was very intentional about continuing to carry on the relationships that meant something to me. And I think that's a big part of that's a big part of the reason why I have my network today. But there's of course the social piece of it, but then there's also the professional piece of it. And I think whenever it does come to the professional side of things, like Justin was saying, when you find somebody who is a like-minded individual, you try and hold on to that, whatever it means. And in this day and age, it's so easy to stay connected. LinkedIn, Facebook, even everybody's a text message away. So I think just making sure to prioritize those relationships and making sure that you're making time for it. And it's not as if you need to see these people, every month or every other week. Once a year, twice a year is sometimes simply enough to maintain that relationship.
No, that's so true. And on that same point, what becomes interesting is, I've heard this saying so much, it's not about what you know, but it's who you know. And it couldn't be more true, because the Coaches Council, for example, I knew I had hired a business coach. His network I started to tap into, and I all of a sudden got in touch with these coaches that I otherwise would have no business meeting. And I see how he leverages network all the time in his weekly emails, where he says these are 5 things that he needs to get done. And it could be whatever. It could be something for his business, it could be something professionally, it could be something for his mother, it could be something for his girlfriend. And 5 things that he needs, and he reaches out to this network of thousands of people. And every week these things get accomplished. He needs a doctor, he needs an answer, he needs a programmer, he needs advice, and the answers come because people love helping people.
Yeah, no, that's very true.
And the more that you can connect people, the more that we can connect the dots with people, it's amazing what happens. Because as crazy as the times are right now, and as up and down it seems on a day-to-day basis, people innately are good, and they do really truly want to help everybody out in their network. And believe it or not, it's like they said in that Friends episode. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
That there is no selfless act.
Oh, no selfless good deed. Yeah.
Yes, no selfless good deed. And why? Because when you connect somebody with someone else, something positive happens. How does that make you feel?
Yeah, no.
Makes you feel great. Makes you feel great. And so you're going to want to continue to do more of it. And so just by simply understanding that and growing your network and knowing that things down the road, things that you want, are going to be easier when you help others get what they want and you grow that network. So from here, create clarity on what that network wants to be. Know who you want to be associated with, and then start to take action. Start to take action, reach out to people, and see how you can help them, and watch your network grow. So with that, that's another White Claw wrap-up.
Sure is.
First one here in New York City. They've gone down to 70 calories, but we're still bringing the energy full throttle.
Yep.
I love it. Go own it.
Happy weekend.
Happy weekend. Go own it.
Go own it.